Very difficult for me. I know you're emotional about food. I know you often buy from habit. I know that you're not ignorant of A, what food is, B, what food does, C, the vital need for minerals and vitamins in daily diet.
What is that?
I don't know. That was a throwback.
Anybody?
That's your inner voice telling you that you're a loser. I don't know.
Your voice is British. That's kind of neat. My mom would be proud of that one. All right. Canada's official nutritional guide. It's been 60 years since it first came out, 1958. A little has changed since then.
Yeah.
A lot has changed.
Right.
And joining us now is our professional home economist, Mairlyn Smith, and it's going to change even more coming up. Right?
It is. Like, we don't know what the new guide's going to look like, but I thought it'd be interesting for Nutrition Month to look at what we did in the 1950s compared to what we're doing now.
Let's see
who
what
knows?
we did, say.
Yeah. But I think the biggest thing is that size matters, and when it comes to plates, it really does.
That's fascinating.
And this is a 1950s plate, and you don't put the food on the edge, right? So on the inside is about 6 inches compared to what it is right now, which is about 10. And so the bigger the plate, the bigger your genes, basically is how it kind of translates. So, and if we look at a 1950s food, this is like a typical dinner.
Yes.
And this is when they taught home economics, and people were like, home cooking. And so there was always some kind of juice, a vegetable juice,
That's
a salad.
Serving? That's a
serving. This is another serving. That's a salad, obviously, but, with iceberg lettuce. And then, canned vegetables, but also servings of fruits and vegetables. We had usually beef and some potato and always a dessert. And that was the 1950s dinner. And you're thinking, oh my gosh, but look what happened when we got to 2018. And people
I
are
want to go back to 1950 at this point.
I know.
Right?
Well, you know what? I think that's where we should be headed in lots of ways with some tweaking.
More balance.
But this is more like fast food convenience. We're too busy to cook.
Yeah.
We don't have home ec as a mandatory course in schools anymore, so people don't know how to cook. They go to into the grocery store and they go, I don't know what to do. They're in the frozen food section.
Right.
And so there's no vegetables here. There's no fruit. And those are really big cornerstones of long-term health. And we're eating a lot of added sugar, a lot of desserts, a lot of treats. When I grew up, you got a treat if you got the Nobel Peace Prize, right? I mean, and now it's like, oh, good, you walked out the door, let's get a treat, right? So, but
everybody gets a ribbon.
Everybody gets, yes, a participation badge. This is my dream plate, okay? So now this is based on the Canadian Diabetic Association, and so we're looking at a quarter of the plate as a good source of protein, a complete protein.
I know, there's nothing to it,
That is 3 ounces, 75 grams of protein. That's beef. That's
Texas would not be happy.
Can I lift that so
you can lift it. It won't slide off.
That is?
That's the palm of your hand. And what is genius about having a complete protein like beef is you're getting, well, especially beef, B12 and iron. And we're not getting enough of that, especially women. So that's all you need. And then the other quarter of the plate is a complex carbohydrate. I'm switching that out from the potatoes. Barley is a genius one to choose. And then half of the plate are vegetables and having a rainbow.
Beer doesn't count as barley, right?
No, beer, you can't drink your barley. Well, you can if you want.
You can, but
hey,
not
I'm Irish. Anyway, okay, good. And then also the Canadian diabetics, they suggest a calcium source like milk or soy beverage or something that's got a calcium, and then maybe some fruit. So that's what we should be eating.
Yes.
And I just wanted to compare it. Now, I'm an inclusive eater. I don't believe in slagging any food. I mean, I think there's a place for everything. I think it's more about portion control. But I think it's important to know the difference between a complete protein and an incomplete protein.
Why is I heard that the beans with the rice are a complete protein.
But you're a wise consumer. Most people don't know that. They just think that beans are a protein. That portion is an entire can of beans, which equals the same amount of protein and that little tiny piece of beef. This is 183 calories. This is almost 400. Eating it with rice, Dina, you're right, becomes a complete protein, so all your amino acids there, so it's good for your building muscle.
Yeah.
And you also have to have it with a vitamin C source because the iron is different. So the iron in beef complete protein is called heme, so you absorb it really, really well. This is non-heme iron, and without the presence of a vitamin C, you're not going to absorb it very well.
Interesting.
So, yeah, so you have to be a really...
calories, though, too, right?
Way more calories. This is like, 380, 420, depending on the brand that you're going to buy.
There's a lot of vegans and vegetarians, more and more.
Yes.
So this helps to reflect that. We'll see. I like that it's changing because I think it needs to adapt to the needs of different cultures and foods.
Big time, Dina.
Yeah.
That's really missing. And I think they're really, they have to address how much sugar we're eating and give a recommendation. The World Health Organization has made a recommendation for it. We need to be closer to it. I'm really looking forward to the new guide. And when it comes back, I want to come back on and go, ta-da! We'll do a big reveal.
Please do.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Mairlyn Smith, for more information. And when we come back, we're going to do celebrations, and Tash has something really cool for you. More BT right after this. Yeah, this is so true. This is like...